Hello, my name is Aiden in With Suck Brothers channel. Today, I'm gonna read a book called The Girl Who Drank the Moon, Chapter 2. The half of the Chapter 2. First, the pages are the page 3 to 7. Okay, I'm gonna start it. Chapter 2, in which an unfortunate woman goes quite mad. Grandelder Garland took his time that morning. The day of sacrifice only came once a year, after all, and he liked to look his best during the sober procession to the car's house, and during the somber retreat, he encouraged the other elders to do the same. It was important to give the populace a show. He carefully dabbed the robe on his sagging cheeks and lined his eyes with thick streaks of coal. He checked his teeth in the mirror, ensuring they were free of debris or goop. He loved that mirror. It was the only one in the protectorate. Nothing gave Garland more pleasure than the possession of a thing that was unique unto him. He liked being special. The Grandelder had ever so many processions that were unique in the Protectorate. It was one of the perks of the job. The Protectorate, called the Cattle Kingdom by some and the City of Azores by others, was sandwiched between a treacherous forest on one side and an enormous bog on the other. Most people in the protectorate drew their livelihoods from the bog. There was a future in bog walking. Mothers told their children, not much of a future, you understand, but it was better than nothing. The bog was full of zerin shoots in the spring and zerin flowers in the summer and zerin bulbs in the fall. In addition to a wide array of medicinal and borderline magical plants that could be harvested, prepared, treated, and sold to the traders from the other side of the forest, who in the turn transported the fruits of the bog to the three cities far away. The forest itself was terribly dangerous and navigable only by the road, and the elders owned the road, which is so to say that Grandelder Garland owned the road and the other elders had their cot. The elders owned the bog too, and the orchards and the houses and the market squares, even the garden plots. This was why the families of the protectorate made their shoes out of reeds. This was why, in lean times, they fed their children the thick, rich rows of the bog, hoping that the bog would make them strong. This was why the elders and their families grew big and strong and rosy-cheeked on beef and butter and beer. The door knocked. Enter Grandelder Garland, mumbled as he adjusted the drape of his robe. It was Etienne, his nephew, an elder in training, but only because Garland, in a moment of weakness, had promised the ridiculous boy's more ridiculous mother. But that was unkind. And Tane was a nice enough young man, nearly 13. He was a hard worker and a quick study. He was good with numbers and clever with his hands and could build a comfortable bench for a tired elder as quick as busy. And despite himself, Garland had developed an inexplicable and growing fondness for the boy. But Auntie had big ideas, grand notions, and questions Garland furrowed his brow. Auntie was, how could he put it, overly keen. If this kept up, he'd have to be dealt with blood or no. The doubt of it weighed up Garland's heart like a stone. Uncle Garland! And he nearly bowled his uncle over with his insufferable enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Calm yourself, boy, the elder snapped. This is a solemn occasion. The boy caught visibly, his eager, dog-like face tilted toward the ground. Garland resisted the urge to pat him gently on the head. I have been sent, and he continued in a mostly soft voice, to tell you that the other elders are ready and all the populace waits along the roads. Everyone is accounted for. Each one. There are no shirkers. After last year, I doubt there ever will be again, and he said with a shudder. Pity, Garland checked his mirror again. Touching up his ruff, he rather enjoyed teaching the occasional lesson to the citizens of the Protectorate. It clarified things. He tapped the singing folds under his chin and frowned. Well, nephew, he said with an artful swish of his robes, one that had taken him over a decade to perfect. Let us be off. That baby isn't going to sacrifice itself after all. And he flowed into the street with Antane stumbling at his heels. Normally, this day of sacrifice came and went with all the pomp and gravity that it ought. The children were given over without protest. Their numb families mourned in silence with pots of stew and nourishing foods heaped into their kitchens, while the comforting arms of neighbors circled around them to ease their bereavement. Normally, no one broke the rules, but not this time. Granddaughter Garland pressed his lips into a frown. He could hear the mothers howling before the procession turned onto the final street. The citizens began to shift uncomfortably where they stood. When they arrived at the family's house, and astonishing sight met the council of elders, a man with a scratched-up face and swollen lower lip and bloody bald spots across his skull where his hair had been torn out in clumps, met them at the door. He tried to smile, but his tongue went instinctively to the gap where a tooth had just recently been. He sucked in his lips and attempted to bow and said, I am sorry, sirs, said the man. The father, presumably, I don't know what has gotten into her. It's like she's gone mad. From the rafters above them, a woman screeched and howled as the elders entered the house. Her shiny black hair flew about her head like a nest of writhing snakes. She hissed and spat out like a corneral animal. She clung to the ceiling beams with one arm and one leg, while holding a baby tightly against her breast. with the other arm. Get out, she screamed. You cannot have her. I spit on your faces and curse your names. Leave my home at once, or I shall tear out your eyes and throw them to the crows. The elders stared at her open mouth. They couldn't believe it. No one felt for a doomed child. It simply wasn't done. Anthony, alone, and began to cry. He did his best to hide it from the adults in the room. Garland, think fast, fixed a kindly expression on his crazy face. Thank you for listening. This is the end of the chapter 2. Yeah. Bye-bye. See you on next 2 chapter. Bye-bye.